So, Castlevania. I only ever saw this name on games that I was already playing like Dead by Daylight, Vampire Survivor and now V-Rising. When I decided to look this name up on Steam, I was flashed with hot characters and not characters and then hot character brutal gothic style my ass. Back in 1691, Transylvanian mother used to traumatize their kid by whispering, and I repeat, whispering, about Dracula. Every once in a while something tilts the scale of justice and bad thing happens. Maybe a skeleton comes to life or motherfucking Dracula gets resurrected, small business. Matter of fact, Dracula got resurrected before, and killed by a man called Christopher Belmont. After 100 years, during an Easter night, Dracula was resurrected, and here we go with Castlevania 1. Simon goes to Castlevania. Yeah, apparently Dracula's castle is the Castlevania? Listen, I won't pry on a game that has twice my age, it's bad. But, between the dropping ghouls and fishmen, John Lee asked me to leave and play Guilty Gear, I genuinely like the art. It's rough, but it sets the tone of the game, especially in parts of the castle like the one I assume is the clock tower and Dracula's room. I could go over how I start upgrading my collection of mental issues while fighting death. This is generally the worst fight in the game. The home inside were so annoying I rage quit that I completed the next day. This extreme fatigue concludes to a set of stairs that leads to a confrontation between Dracula and Simon. Either wearing a mask or looking like a hag, Dracula shoots fire at Simon, but the Belmonts eventually pop the vampire head off. And then he becomes a fucking pigeon, I don't know. Now, I've heard multiple theories about this thing. I believe it was just another form or even a true form. Apparently though, it's not even Dracula, it's the, and I quote, embodiment of the curse of man. Do whatever you want with that information. I assume it's the classic result of the evil in the world, but more tangible and real. It also likes jumping. Off it goes. Castlevania crumbles, you are the hero and thank you for playing. Worst game in the video. No, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Castlevania II Simon's Quest sucks so much ass. I decided to not go too hard on Castlevania 1 for its age, but this game is bad, hated and deserves the hate. The year 1698, you're Simon Belmont, bravest of the brave, boldest of the bold, blah blah blah, you have been cursed. Simon has a terrible curse and needs to get rid of it. How? By getting Dracula's body parts, such as the ring, basically the art style dice, just so you can go around a new open world, never mind you can't do shit because you're gonna get killed, grind art to buy the classic item like the holy water needed to literally go ahead with the story. For Simon needs to gather the body part, and when he gets one, by throwing a stick at the orb containing it, which you buy from a merchant with one of the mansion, and still costs art, and not only you have to go through a painful platforming and a boss that's just a basic enemy, every part gives you an item to use, but the only one worth noticing is the shield that deflects attack. Basically makes the game playable. Fuck you, leaves the mansion, make my way to Castlevania ruins, and the castle is bearing mold and dust, and after processing all the parts, you resurrect Dracula and... Wait, the game has multiple endings, so there's something good about it. Not the actual endings though. Their texts are like switched between one another, so I'll just say what I think every ending is supposed to be. Ending A, Simon fails his quest because Simon's quest. Ending B, Simon wins, but it's not in frame, so assuming he's dead. And ending C, Simon wins and is still alive. Dracula's grave is also worth noticing. Unless my myopia mixed with astigmatism deceives me, it says 1431 and 1476. Ignoring the fact that the only thing written on the stone is Dracula, the story is based in totally different years. But the years on the stone are the years where Castlevania 3 takes place because yes, Castlevania 3 is a prequel. And these are my notes when I found out. So, Castlevania 3 Curse of Darkness, the base for the first Netflix series that hooked me to Castlevania as a whole. 1476, another year before Simon's birth. Wallachia, the moon is red, Dracula is already alive, Trevor Belmont. This is actually a special event. The Belmonts were cast aside because of dealing with monster must be a monster, but Trevor accepted to do his family's deed and now he stands before everything basically. With his whip given to him by the Poltergeist King, don't know, don't ask, and courage, yeah. With the help of the lost to the lore Grand Dynasty, other vampire killer Saifa Belnades or Saifa Velnundes, this series has an issue with names, and the forgotten son of Dracula, Alucard, he should be able to defeat the Count. Skeletons and Clock Tower are regulars, especially the Clock Tower, where a polymorphed Grand Dynasty offers help to Trevor, and they become friends. What's his use? Parkour. Is he good at it? Absolutely no. Will I still lose him? Absolutely yes. Two water dragonish looking thing, and as per usual, the fucking mummies. Cyclops with a hammer, I don't know, fuck you. But this time there's a second phase, which is like the first one, but he only shoots a singular sight. It's better, but it's easy to go from barely playable to barely playable, but at least not as infuriating, so... The cycle of defeat automatically turns a statue into a... non-statue. And that's Saifa, vampire killer that uses magic to do cool things with the map. Things I've not seen, because I've never played her. I just use her for the endings, cause yeah, there are 4 achievements in this game specifically. Finish the game alone with Grand Saifa and Alucard. Then Lisa just with Alucard, the bat transforming and bow shooting vampire, wanting to stop his father because of Yes. I would also like to add a new meter to my video. If it was obvious, by now I'm Italian. My little language is a cool thing called blasphemy. How frustrated can I get over the span of a minute? Short answer, a lot.
Porco, mannaggia la madonna, mannaggia Santi Padre Pio mio, Mario figlio di...
Dracula's room is occupied by its occupying occupier Dracula, first try. Fire pillars and teleporting around the room, they teleport this time. Doesn't make me hollow every single time it happens, the fire pillars on the other hand. After enduring the honestly first okay fight with Dracula, a blood period shooting bookhead with heads, yeah, don't even know. I refuse to look up what the eventual meaning of this is supposed to be. But when Dracula finally dies, nothing. Castle goes down and multiple endings. If you complete the game in solo, someone in the shadow is watching the castle falling, probably Alucard. Sci-fi had a bad life, but now she's fine. Sucks. Irrelevant given that Grand never comes back. But the achievement for completing the game with him says, me and my family rest in peace. He's the last one alive, basically. Alucard is said that he committed patricide, and given he needed others to kill Dracula, it's implied it is wicked than him. Also, Alucard is a nickname. His real name is Adrian T. Tepesh. We know from the Castlevania II that Dracula is called Dracula, so the fact. Let's just take only Dracula for a second. The character itself comes from Vlad the Impaler, or Vlad Dracula, or Vlad Sepesh. Sepesh means the Impaler. Probably Alucard sounds better when meeting someone. The name Adrian instead, this is my theory and I could be dead wrong, comes from the first Roman emperor called Adrian. I'm Italian, of course I knew this before my researches. So it gives off a royal vibe, like Alexander, Elizabeth, or anything that is needlessly long and complex. For his middle name F, I look it up and it's Fahrenheit. Again, my theory, maybe because vampires are night creatures, so night is cold, so Fahrenheit. Or maybe because he shoots fireball like his father, so he's hot. I bet many people would agree with this statement. But nonetheless, Trevor and crew, except him, is done and forever remembered. Especially the lover thing between those two. Belmont are able to use magic thanks to this relationship. But without further ado, Super Castlevania 4. Animated background, many sprite and directional attack. You can also swing around. The whip has physics. Dracula's story is basically the same at this point in time. Remember, 1691. 100 years have passed since Dracula was a thing. It even states that many Belmonts never had to face him and lived a peaceful life. And I quote, it is time once again for Simon Belmont to call forth blah blah blah. Either people can translate for shit or it's a retcon. But it wouldn't make sense since it stated that Dracula has not been around for 100 years. What matters though, the movement is almost enjoyable now. And this time that is actually a boss I don't mind fighting. It's there as an obstacle as per usual, but at least I don't lose my shit whenever I see it. There are two bosses before Dracula. I call them Fucked Up Bear 1 and Fucked Up Bear 2. I believe they're Dracula's bodyguard or something like that, given that they're literally before him, but who knows. And talking about the scary stairman, I would like to point out that the amount of attack he has, Tesla, weird balls, projectiles, are actually really appreciated this time. The fight is similar to the other, basically the only spot you can damage, you have to avoid the attacks, classic by now. After a lot, and I mean a lot of saves coming, Dracula is defeated. He turns into some bats and then burns. That's actually a pretty sweet ending, I like it. It's really interesting to see the quality in the game rising up, from the music, which I still don't enjoy, to the art. Dracula still looks ugly as shit, but surely it will get better. No, Castlevania Adventure. Listen, this is the first time I play a game coming from the Game Boy. With this being a port, I assume it's not the same game, but man, it fucking sucks. It's slow, it freezes. Parkour is possibly the worst till now. And Dracula's fight. Okay, so 1576. We play as Christopher Belmont, and ignoring all the pun in the intro such as Dead Ahead or Dead End, Christopher can shoot fireball out of his whip, because yes. If it looks like the game is atrocious, it's because it is. Dracula shoots balls with cross and explodes and goodbye. Castlevania Belmont's Revenge. It's 1591. 15 years later. A new Belmont finally grew up and became a man. Soleil Belmont. He got mindfucked by the revenant of Dracula that also came back to life and now Christopher has to save him. It's weird that basically a dead Dracula still had the power to corrupt a person, and between everyone he managed to corrupt a Belmont. I used to believe Belmont has some kind of superpower power, or at least some kind of resistance, don't know. Listen, there are 4 stages, and then Dracula's castle, but really, I don't care. When someone fights against Soleil, basically the doppelganger fight, it goes like, you can't win, father shit. Well, Dracula can't use my power, so you will use the 4 castles one. And I was left there wondering if he was going to throw a fucking brick at me, like, what is that supposed to mean? Are the castle alive? Are they made out of energy or something? Dracula exists, it's even worse than before actually, the visuals are better, I like the fashion, but those fucking balls, man. That's it, thank you Konami. Soleil standing there like he did something, but we forgive him because he's just a kid. Kid Dracula. Subscribe please. 10,000 years in the future. Kid Dracula is lived for 10,000 years and a demon took his place as king. That's it. He goes all around the world to assure his dominance, ignoring the fact that this game is a parody, so I won't talk about it for too long. I just want to say that it was actually pretty sweet to play. I had fun, mostly. The many things you can do with your abilities like bombing the fucking Demon King were actually pretty fun and engaging. I like the sprite of many enemies, the clueless fish and the witch are pretty cute for example. Blitzcrank with his grab and Kogot, Konami apparently doesn't even fear Nintendo, given that there's also Jason around here. 2 laser and a fireball, you stand between them and having to dodge the last one, and that's it. The game ends and Kid Dracula is again the Dark Lord. The last few bosses were truly worth the sweat and bloodline. So, back in 1897, Quincy Morris, descendant of the Belmonts, died while impaling Dracula's heart. His son, John Morris, and his childhood friend, Eric Lecard, saw Quincy's fight and devoted themselves to clear the world from evil. 20 years in the future, Elizabeth Bartley, a child murderer, managed to revive Dracula. She's also his granddaughter, apparently. The first one is using the usual whip, now called Vampire Killer, and the other one is using the Alcarde Spear. Is that a mistranslation? Like, is that supposed to be Alucard? Or is this one of those cases like Sci-Fi and Sci-Fi? The name goes Lecard, not Alcard. John goes in, fight dog creature, and the first thing I noticed is the presence of magic. They Fun fact, Elizabeth Bartley, Dracula's niece, comes from a real murderer, Elizabeth Bartory. She used to torture and kill people from lower classes, and also she was never really tried for her action. Instead, for Quincy Morris, I found out he's an actual character in the original Dracula's novel. Talking about Dracula, he's not in Transylvania this time, and he's not the only one who's gonna get a whip treatment. Transylvania, in the old castle ruins, where a dog gets turned into a creme brulee, then somewhere in Greece, I forgot to record it, my bad. Then to Pisa in Italy, as an Italian I can confirm this is how the buildings are made. Germany to the munition factory, Frankenstein monster with Pigan's back, what? And also gears. Then to France at Versailles, with armor throwing hands, also face shooting bubbles, the pillar or jar behind them, yeah. That is still here, and it fights using cards this time. Every card has either a heal, attack, or boss behind it. The boss fight are a weakened version of the priors. I don't know if that has any real lore implication, like that can control lesser monster or entity, something like that. When all the cards are down, that goes for the throat, first time actually like a death fight. The moves are the classic one from Castlevania IV. After banishing Skelly, we get to go to some familiar stairs, but the room is not filled with black and red, but with a bright pink and purple. The enemy now is Elizabeth, showing off her, I suppose, magic abilities. When Elizabeth inevitably loses and turns into nothing, a new set of 2 stairs awaits, and the colors turn back to black and red, turning into bats, firing different types of fire projectiles. It's basically a fight now, and it turns into a... yeah. The pillars are just there to extend this fight, as this phase has nothing to go for it. But the third phase, on the other hand,
Per la terza fase.
devilish looking, through farm possibly, like Castlevania 1 maybe, or maybe even a Lost Control one. I can just say I don't see what the fuck is going on, but it looks cool, but it plays horribly. After all went down, John wins the duel, or fight, I don't know if the two friends were fighting together lore-wise, and once again the Dark Lord loses. Let's wait until the century then. As stated earlier, this is possibly the best game from the collection. Even though they removed the fucking directional attack. But improvements were there, and I actually enjoyed my time. The last note I want to add is the art change, especially in Castlevania IV. It felt so visceral, something slightly lost in Bloodline, I think. The quality was going up, obviously, and I'm super interested in playing all the characters, like the girl with the tattoo on her back, I believe her name is Shanoa. Alucard with his new design, also never fucking mind, Sony sucks. Soma also looks cool, and the one that I'm most hype about is Julius, the first character ever met from the series. And with that, this is the end of the video. Will my release schedule get any better? Will I stop scrapping videos when they're basically done? The only thing I know for real is that this is a series now. Now if you excuse me, I'll come back to my catatonic state, making rolls on my chair while contemplating life choices and regret them. And I'll see you in the next one.